Hi, my name is Bukeka Blakemore. I'm the CEO of Fave Unite TV, and we are so excited to be partnering with McCurdy Talent Exhibition. And so we're going to be providing just a few brief lessons to help you on your path as a creator. And the first lesson is on mindset. I want you to think about the fact that as a creator, everything begins in your mind. All the art that you produce, the music that you make, the dances that you perform, all of that begins from a place of creativity in the mind and in the imagination. So if we can create artistic expression through the capabilities of our mind, we can also do that with other aspects of our lives, our relationships, our careers, our health and wellness, our financial abundance and prosperity. You see, it all begins in the mind first. Being able to have a clear mind enables us to have a mindset that allows us to create the life that we want to live. So how do we get to a mindset that is clear, that enables us to have the type of life that we want to live, and that also provides us with information that gets us to that next level? Because you see, with the mind, it's a reciprocal process. We're receiving information and we're giving information. And all throughout our day, that is happening at all times. A reciprocal process of information, of input and output. The fact is that it's all data. It's information that is going to help us create the art that we create, as well as create the lives that we want to live. So let's look at it from this perspective. If your mindset is unclear, then your life experience is unclear. If your mindset is unfocused, then your life is unfocused. But as creators, we prove every day that we can take our mind and focus and have clarity, which enables us to have the type of artistic expression that people are able to see and enjoy. So you're going to transfer those skills, that same skill set, into a mindset that enables you to have the type of life you want to live. So let's take it from the aspect of being a creator and first having an idea of what we want to have in our artistic expression. If we're a singer, we know that there's a particular note that we want to hit. If we're a dancer, we know that there's a particular step we want to take. If we're a visual artist, we know that there's a particular color and a color palette that we want to use. Can we transfer that same activity into that ability to create the life that we want? Absolutely. So let's look at the three things that are going to enable us to have a mindset that will create a life that is what we want to experience. You've heard so many times, I want to have a clear conscience. I want to have a clear mind. Well, how do you get to having a clear mind? Well, that's when that spiritual aspect of us comes into play. That unseen aspect of life that comes into play that actually does make a difference in the physical things that happen to us. Having a clear mind means you need to rest your mind many times, going into a place of meditation. Some people go into prayer. But whatever you do, you need to give yourself permission and time to have silence, to have a time of inner reflection, or to just notice the world around you. Notice the cars that are on the street. Notice the stars in the sky. Notice the warmth on your skin. Notice how things are showing up in nature. Just taking that action alone can lead you to a place of quieting your mind, letting go of the busyness of the day, letting go of the things that you even want to achieve in that moment. Notice that you are giving yourself permission to quiet your mind. So that's the first thing that you want to do when having a mindset that leads you into a greater life experience. And you already know this to be true as an artistic creator. Think about the times that you have just sat back and waited for that right lyric to come to you. That time when you allowed your imagination before you put that particular color on that blank canvas. Your mindset does require you to quiet your mind. The next thing to remember in terms of developing a mindset is to have clarity. So there's a difference between having a clear mind than having clarity. Because once you have a clear mind, you now have clarity about what it is that you want to see or experience. Again, going back to that aspect of being an artistic creator. You've quieted the mind. You've allowed yourself to take pause. And when you do that, then suddenly those answers appear. The color that you want appears. The dance move or the step that you want to take appears. The lyric in the next song that you want to write appears. You suddenly have clarity. So what does that mean for things that are happening in your life? You may need clarity in terms of a relationship that you have. You may need clarity in terms of how to approach an individual with an idea, or with a feeling or thought that you have. You might be in a situation that could be detrimental to your well-being, and you need clarity as to how to maneuver out of that situation. So once you have given yourself permission to have a clear mind, you're now in a better position to have clarity of the next steps to take. And in that clarity, you begin to have a greater sense of strength and knowledge about the information that's coming to you. Because in that clarity, you're going to receive information. And you might be wondering, well, what do you mean by that, Bukeka? How do you receive information? Well, if you are studying for something, that clear mind that you had from your peaceful meditation and then moving into a sense of clarity, you're going to be able to receive information that you're learning about. Maybe that next step that you need to take requires you to take some type of course. Maybe that next step that you need to take requires you to learn about how to deal with certain individuals. Maybe that next step requires you to be a better judge of the decisions that you need to make, or make better decisions. And that is the reciprocal process in action. Being able to have clarity means you now have the ability to receive information that's necessary for your next move or your next steps that you need to take. So let's go through these again. You're taking the time to have a clear mind, which gives you clarity. And in that clarity, you're able to receive information. And then you're able to give information. Now, this is a part of the process where you need to allow yourself to be a little bit vulnerable. And what I mean by that is you want to give yourself the permission to let down your guard just enough to say the things, or not be afraid to say the things that need to be said. Now, I do take pause on this in some aspects, because if someone is in a particularly volatile situation, you want to be able to have the wherewithal to take those steps in a cautious manner. But in general, when you are about to give information, I want you to feel confident that you can do that. Sometimes being confident means that you are humble, that there's a sense of humility, and that's where that vulnerability comes in. So having a mindset that allows you to be successful means that you give yourself that time to have a clear mind, that you allow yourself to have clarity about the steps that you want to take, that in that clarity you're able to receive information, and in having that information, then you're able to give information from a place of humility. When you do these things, you're going to see a shift in the patterns of your life. You're going to be able to speak more confidently. You're going to be able to speak more authentically from a place of authenticity, because of that humility part that we just spoke of. And if you do that in every area of your life, whether you are stepping out into the world for the first time in a new job, or whether you're entering into a new relationship, or whether you're about to sign a contract that increases your prosperity and financial abundance, or whether you are simply getting ready to do something fun with your friends, having a clear mind, having clarity, being able to receive information and give information from a place of humility is what will lead you to taking those steps in a way that's going to be more beneficial for you. So thank you so much. We're going to continue on with these lessons and this information, and we hope that it helps you in moving into a greater area of success in your life. Thank you so much, and we'll see you for the next lesson. Bye for now.